The stars hung in the endless black of space like tiny shards of glass, cold and distant. On the edge of a forgotten system, a lone planet spun silently around its dying sun. Its surface, once teeming with life, had become a barren wasteland. Cities that had once reached proudly toward the sky now lay in ruins. Smoke still drifted from the cracked towers, evidence of battles long ended. Amid the silence, only one signal continued to pulse across the void, a desperate plea for help. Commander Alara Voss leaned over the control panel of the Aegis, her ship cutting through the darkness at faster-than-light speeds. She had been tracking this signal for weeks, and every data readout confirmed the same haunting truth. The planet's population was on the brink of extinction. Its people had tried to resist an invading alien force, but their defenses were failing. Now the message repeated endlessly, a single voice calling for salvation. "Captain, the coordinates match the signal," reported Lieutenant Rian Holt, his voice tight with worry. "Whatever happened there, it's recent. Maybe hours, maybe minutes. They're still alive. Barely." Ilara's hands hovered over the controls. She had heard countless distress calls in her career. But something about this one felt different. There was fear, yes, but also determination. The voice wasn't begging for mercy. It was calling for action, for someone to fight. "Plot a course," she ordered, her voice steady, though her heart raced. "And Ryan, keep the shields at full. I don't want surprises." The Aegis surged forward, slipping through the void like a blade of silver. Outside, the stars streaked into long lines as the ship entered faster-than-light travel. Ilara allowed herself a moment to breathe, to remember why she had joined the fleet. Humanity had faced extinction before, on Earth, on Mars colonies, in deep space colonies over centuries. Every time they had survived. Every time they had proven they were capable of facing horrors that seemed insurmountable. And now, they would prove it again. When they dropped out of FTL, the scene that greeted them was grim. The planet's surface glowed faintly red, scorched by weapons fire. Craters pockmarked the land, and thick clouds of dust and ash choked the atmosphere. Through the haze, the remnants of the city flickered, fires burning in what had once been homes, schools, marketplaces. Ilara scanned the surface, her eyes narrowing. "We need to find the source of the signal. Likely it's in the city's center, where they tried to hold the line." Holt tapped the console. "There's resistance activity, but minimal. Whoever's left isn't organized. They're scattered. Then it's up to us to give them hope," Ilara said softly. "If they see humans coming, they might fight another day." The shuttle dropped into the ruined city, engines muted to avoid detection. As they approached the ground, the scale of the devastation became clear. Skyscrapers lay on their sides, streets were torn apart, and debris littered every corner. Yet among the destruction, Ilara noticed movement. Small, desperate figures darting between shadows, carrying weapons far too small for the battle they faced. The shuttle landed with a soft thud. The hatch opened and Ilara stepped out, her boots crunching on broken glass and ash. Behind her, Rian and a small team of Marines followed, weapons ready. A sudden movement caught her eye. A figure stumbled out of an alley. A woman, her clothes torn, face streaked with dirt and sweat. She raised her hands in a gesture of surrender, but there was no fear in her eyes. Instead, there was something stronger, a demand. "Please, I am Leora," the woman said, voice trembling but firm. You have to help us. They're coming back soon." Ilara approached cautiously. "We received your signal. You're safe now, but we need details." "Who attacked you?" Leora shook her head. "It's impossible. Ships came from beyond the outer colonies. Machines, not like any humans. They burn everything. They take everything. My people, they were trying to fight. I called for salvation. I didn't know if anyone would answer." Ilara's jaw tightened. She had seen reports of alien forces in distant systems. Ruthless, efficient, relentless. Humanity had survived countless threats, but nothing like this had ever reached the inner systems. And yet, the voice in Leora's plea carried a spark of hope, a stubborn light refusing to go out. "You're not alone," Ilara said, kneeling to meet Leora's gaze. "Humanity heard your call. We answer with fire, with everything we've got. But you have to help us. Show us where the survivors are, where the fight is still happening." Leora's eyes filled with tears. "Follow me. There are children, old people hiding, but the machines are coming. They sense life. They will destroy everything." The team moved quickly, following Leora through alleys and across crumbling streets. Everywhere they went, they saw evidence of struggle. Scorched walls, shattered windows, twisted metal where vehicles had been crushed. And everywhere they saw resilience. Humans who had refused to give up, who hid in basements, tunnels, and ruins, waiting for the chance to survive. By the time they reached the city's central square, the sun was dipping low on the horizon. Fires cast long shadows, and the sound of distant machines echoed across the ruins. And there, in the center of what remained of the square, were dozens of survivors huddled together, armed with what little they could find: scrap metal, rifles long past their prime, anything that could be used to defend themselves. Leora turned to them. "They're here. The humans, they came. They will fight with us." A murmur of disbelief ran through the crowd, quickly turning to cautious hope. Some dropped to their knees, clutching the ground, overwhelmed that someone had come. Others lifted their weapons, fists shaking, but their eyes burned with renewed determination. Alara stood tall, looking over them. "We are not just here to fight. We are here to show you that humanity does not surrender. We are here to protect, to survive, and to rise stronger. Today you will see what happens when humans answer a call for salvation." Ryan glanced at her. "And what about the machines?" "They will learn," she said quietly. "They will learn that humans fight not just with weapons, but with heart. And we will burn brighter than any fire they can bring." Night fell. The survivors, guided by Alara and her team, began preparing defenses. Makeshift barricades rose from debris, traps were set along streets, and signals were sent to orbiting ships. Every small act, every choice built momentum. Humanity had answered the call, and now they would prove that even in the darkest hour they were unstoppable. In the shadows of the ruined city, Leora finally allowed herself a moment of hope. She had called for salvation in desperation, and for the first time in days, she believed that salvation had arrived, not as a miracle, but as humanity itself, fierce and unyielding. Alara looked to the sky, where the first human reinforcements would soon arrive. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we fight. Not just for survival, but for victory. Humanity will answer with fire, and nothing will extinguish it." The city slept uneasily that night, but hope had returned. And in the void of space, the Aegis shone like a beacon, a promise that the fire of humanity would not be dimmed. Not by machines, not by fear, and not by despair. The first light of dawn cut through the smoky haze of the ruined city, casting long shadows over crumbled buildings and broken streets. The fires from last night still burned in places, sending thin streams of smoke into the sky. From the rooftops, Commander Alara Voss surveyed the city with a keen eye. Every building, every alley, every broken wall could be both a shield and a trap. Beside her, Lieutenant Ryan Holt checked the team's weapons. "They're going to come at us hard. Whatever these machines are, they won't wait. They sense life. They will come for the survivors." Alara nodded, her expression calm but fierce. "Then we will show them something they've never faced. Humanity does not retreat. We fight and we endure. That is our advantage." The survivors had rallied overnight under Leora's guidance. Though exhausted, they moved with purpose, barricading entrances, setting alarms, and placing tripwires along the main streets. Children and elders were moved to the deeper tunnels beneath the city, while adults prepared for the inevitable confrontation. The fear in their eyes had softened into determination. Humans were fragile, yes, but they were never weak when they fought for survival. As the sun climbed higher, distant shadows began to appear on the horizon. At first they were small, dark specks against the ash-gray streets. Then as they grew closer, the survivors could see their form, massive, angular machines moving with precise efficiency. Their metallic bodies glinted in the sun and their weapons bristled, ready to unleash fire. Ryan tightened his grip on his rifle. "They're faster than anything we've fought before. But we have the advantage of ground knowledge, and we have something they cannot understand: human unpredictability." Alara turned to Leora, who was coordinating with the scattered survivors. "Do you have volunteers for a forward team?" she asked. Leora hesitated, then nodded. 8 men and women stepped forward, armed with improvised weapons, spears made from pipes, flamethrowers cobbled together from fuel tanks, even rocks and debris. Fear danced in their eyes, but so did courage. "This is humanity's answer," Alara said quietly, addressing both her team and the survivors. They may be stronger, faster, or more numerous, but we have heart. We have fire, and together, we will turn their advance into their defeat. The first wave of machines arrived with a thunderous crash, rolling down the streets like unstoppable storms. Their weapons discharged streams of plasma, and explosions ripped through the city. The humans scattered, ducking behind rubble and barricades. Yet for every machine that advanced, a human trap sprang to life. Pits hidden beneath debris, tripwires triggering small explosions, and barricades that slowed the mechanical advance. Rian and the Marines led a strike team, moving from cover to cover, picking off machines with carefully aimed shots. Despite their advanced technology, the machines had a weakness: predictable programming. They reacted to patterns, and humans, clever and unpredictable, exploited them with brutal precision. Leora and her team of survivors joined the fray. Using Molotovs, flamethrowers, and guerrilla tactics, they harassed the machines at every turn. One machine, massive and heavily armed, advanced down the main street, crushing cars under its feet. But a well-timed explosion from a hidden cache sent it toppling into a crater, sparks flying as circuits burned. The survivors cheered, a sound that bolstered both them and the human soldiers. For the first time since the invasion, they felt something they hadn't dared to hope for: victory. Not complete victory, not yet, but the beginning of it. Ilara moved through the streets with purpose, coordinating attacks, directing squads, and constantly reassessing the battlefield. She had learned long ago that leadership was not just about orders, but about presence. Humans needed to see their leaders in the fight, to know that fear could be faced and conquered. From the edge of a crumbling tower, she spotted a squad of machines moving in a coordinated flank. She shouted through the comms, "Ryan, intercept! Leora, lead your team to the south alley. Trap them there." The human teams moved with remarkable synchronicity, her words a spark igniting coordinated action. They funneled the machines into a narrow street, where hidden charges and makeshift explosives waited. When the first machine stepped forward, the charges detonated with a violent roar, hurling metal and sparks into the air. The survivors held their positions steady, firing from cover, forcing the machines back. Even with advanced weapons and superior strength, the machines faltered against the unpredictable resistance of human tactics. They were designed to fight efficiently, but they could not understand courage. They could not calculate the risk humans were willing to take. They could not predict ingenuity born from desperation. And so, with each wave, humans pushed back. With each explosion, each clever maneuver, the tide began to turn. But victory came at a cost. Screams echoed from the streets as machines struck in unexpected ways. A young man, barely 16, was caught in the blast of a fallen drone, and another survivor was crushed by debris. Leora ran to help them, her hands shaking but her determination unbroken. Ilara saw it all, feeling the weight of responsibility. This was humanity, brave, flawed, and fierce. Every loss was a reminder of what they were fighting for, and every victory was proof that hope could survive even in darkness. By midday, the main assault had slowed. Machines that remained were retreating, regrouping for another wave. But humans had learned, they had adapted. And in the shadows of the ruins, they built new defenses, anticipating the next attack. Ryan approached Ilara, wiping sweat and grime from his brow. "They won't stop. They'll come back stronger, but we've shown them we can fight. We've shown them that humans don't surrender." Ilara nodded, scanning the horizon. "Yes, and we've shown our survivors that they are not alone. That they are part of something bigger, something unstoppable. Humanity does not wait for salvation. Humanity becomes it." As evening fell, the city quieted, the fires burning low. Survivors gathered around small clusters of warmth, tending to the wounded and comforting children. Leora moved among them, her eyes still shining with gratitude and hope. Ilara walked to the edge of the city, looking out at the horizon. The sky was dark, but in the distance she saw the glow of human ships arriving. Reinforcements armed with advanced weaponry and strategy would soon join the fight. Humanity was coming in full force. She turned to Ryan. "Tomorrow we push forward. We take back the city. We show these machines what it means to challenge humans and live to tell the tale. They will learn that fire does not burn out. It spreads, and we are the spark." Ryan's smile was grim but confident. "Then let them come. Let them see fire in the hearts of humans." In the ruined streets, the survivors listened. They felt it. A surge of courage, a flame kindled in the darkest hour. Humans had answered the call, and now they would fight not just to survive, but to reclaim their world. And somewhere above, in orbit, the Aegis prepared its own descent. Ships bristling with weapons, supplies, and more soldiers were ready to join the battle. Humanity had arrived. Humanity had answered, and humanity's fire would not be extinguished. The night stretched on, and the survivors slept uneasily, knowing the machines would return. But in their dreams, they were not helpless. They were not alone. They were humans. They were fighters, and tomorrow they would rise with fire. Dawn came again, but this time it brought not only light but hope. The ruined city had become a battlefield, but it was also a testament to human will. Survivors moved through the streets with purpose, reinforcing barricades, tending the wounded, and preparing for the next wave. Commander Alara Voss stood atop a partially destroyed skyscraper, watching the horizon. The enemy machines were returning. She could see the glint of their metallic bodies in the early light, their movements coordinated, methodical, relentless. Ryan Holt joined her on the rooftop, his rifle slung across his back. "They've learned from yesterday," he said grimly. "They're approaching differently, using more advanced tactics. They're faster, smarter." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "Then we become smarter too, faster, unpredictable. They have weapons, yes, but we have creativity. We have courage, and we have fire." Leora approached, carrying a bundle of communications equipment. "The survivors have prepared what they can," she said, her voice steady. "We've set traps along the main avenues, and some teams are ready to flank. They're counting on us to lead." Ilara nodded. "Then we will. Today we push them back further. We will make them fear the streets they thought were empty. We will show them that humanity answers every call with more than fire, with intelligence, strategy, and heart." The first wave struck just as the sun climbed fully into the sky. Machines advanced with terrifying speed, their weapons unleashing streams of plasma and energy across the crumbled city. But humanity had changed overnight. Where yesterday they had been caught off guard, now they were ready. Small squads darted through the ruins, attacking from unexpected angles. Explosives hidden beneath debris detonated with precision, crippling the first machines to enter the streets. Survivors armed with flamethrowers surged from alleys, forcing others to retreat. Ryan and his team moved like shadows, taking advantage of every blind spot, every weak point. Ilara directed the battle from the rooftop, her voice carrying through comms. "North alley. Trap them there.
South block. Fire on their flank."
Remember, unpredictability is our weapon. The machines built to calculate and execute could not adapt fast enough. They were forced into patterns the humans had set, and for the first time the city's defenders gained the upper hand. One massive machine, heavily armed and covered in thick armor, advanced along the main street, its footsteps shaking the ground. But a coordinated strike from 3 squads, explosives, flamethrowers, and precise gunfire, brought it crashing to the ground. Sparks flew as circuits fried, and the survivors cheered, a sound that echoed through the ruined towers. It was not just a victory of strength, but a victory of ingenuity. Humans had turned the enemy's advantage against them using knowledge, cunning, and courage. Hours passed. Machines continued to attack, relentless as ever, but the humans adapted with every strike. Ilara moved constantly, inspiring the survivors, coordinating squads, and striking herself when the moment demanded it. She was not just a commander. She was a symbol. Humans fought differently when they saw their leaders standing with them, willing to face the same danger. Leora worked alongside the survivors, guiding them through traps, teaching them to anticipate the enemy and boosting morale. She had been the one to call for salvation, and now she was leading the charge in her own way. She realized that survival depended not just on weapons, but on hope, strategy, and unity. In the city's central square, the tide began to turn. The machines had underestimated human resilience. They had assumed fear and despair would dominate, but instead they faced resistance, clever traps, and unexpected attacks. Every step forward they took was met with ingenuity and courage. Rian spotted a cluster of machines preparing a concentrated attack on a barricade. "Ilara, they're going to breach the south block," he shouted. "Then we hit them before they reach it," she replied. Her team surged forward, and with the survivors alongside them, they unleashed a coordinated counterattack. Explosives detonated beneath advancing machines, flamethrowers forced them to retreat, and sharpshooters targeted vulnerable circuits. Within minutes, the assault was repelled, and the survivors held the line. As the day wore on, humans began to push forward, reclaiming streets that had once been lost. Every victory, no matter how small, was a statement. Humanity would not be destroyed. Humanity would not bow. Humanity would answer every call for salvation with fire, courage, and heart. In the midst of the battle, a new threat emerged. Larger, more advanced machines began to appear from the outskirts, units far stronger than any the humans had faced before. Their weapons were heavier, their armor thicker, and their movements faster. But Ilara refused to falter. She knew that humanity's greatest strength was not in technology alone, but in creativity and determination. Ryan, take a strike team. Liara, gather the volunteers. We need to divide their attention. Split their forces, she commanded. We hit them from every angle. They can be strong, but they cannot predict us. The plan was risky. The humans were outnumbered and outgunned. But risk was part of survival. They moved with precision, dividing into multiple squads to attack from different directions. The machines, designed to respond to threats in predictable patterns, were forced to split their focus. Explosions, gunfire, and fire from improvised weapons created chaos that no algorithm could calculate. One massive machine fell into a trap set by survivors, a deep pit concealed by rubble and debris. Another was disabled when a team used cables to trip its heavy legs, sending it crashing into a wall. The humans adapted constantly, finding weaknesses, exploiting patterns, and striking with courage and precision. Even as the battle raged, the humans' morale grew stronger. The survivors who had once cowered in fear now fought with pride and determination. Children had been moved to safety, but even the youngest watched from tunnels and alleys, learning that courage was contagious. Ilara and Ryan led the final push into the city's central district, where the remaining machines had concentrated. The humans moved like a storm, striking with calculated ferocity. Each machine that fell was a statement. Humanity would not be crushed. Humanity would fight for every street, every building, every life. At last, the remaining machines began to retreat. Sparks flew from damaged circuits, weapons jammed, and one by one, the machines pulled back to regroup. The city was battered, but humans still stood. Fires still burned in pockets, but they were no longer just symbols of destruction. They were symbols of resistance, of victory, of life. As night fell, the humans gathered amidst the ruins, tending to the wounded and celebrating the victories, however small. Liara moved among them, her voice strong and confident. You have fought bravely. You have shown that even in the darkest hour humans rise. Today we have turned the tide. But the battle is not over. Ilara joined her, her eyes scanning the horizon. Tomorrow the next wave will come, and we will be ready. Today we proved that humans are not helpless. Today we proved that we answer every call with fire, with courage, with heart, and with unity. The machines may be strong, but humanity is stronger. Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder. We've shown them that unpredictability, strategy, and courage are weapons no machine can understand. Ilara nodded. And tomorrow we will show them even more. Humanity will not just survive. Humanity will rise stronger than ever, and those who challenge us will learn that when humans fight, fire follows. Not just fire of weapons, but fire of spirit. Above the city, the Aegis hovered silently, observing the battlefield below. Reinforcements had arrived, carrying weapons, supplies, and more soldiers. Humanity had answered the call for salvation, and the response was overwhelming. Together, humans were a force that could not be extinguished. In the quiet moments before the next battle, the survivors slept, rested, and healed. But deep inside, every heart burned with the knowledge that tomorrow, humanity would rise again. And when they did, the machines would face a force unlike any they had ever known. A force born not of circuits and metal, but of courage, intelligence, and unbreakable human will. The city had become a battlefield and a beacon of human defiance. Fires burned in controlled zones, lighting up streets and alleys where the survivors moved with purpose. Commander Ilara Voss stood on the top of a half-collapsed tower, overlooking the city. The first waves of the alien machines had been repelled, but intelligence reports showed that the enemy was preparing a concentrated assault, stronger, faster, and more organized than ever. Beside her, Lieutenant Ryan Holt reviewed the map of the city's central district. They're concentrating in the eastern sector, he said. 3 large units plus smaller squads. If they break through, they could reach the survivor tunnels and take everything. Alara clenched her jaw. Then we go to them. We take the fight to the heart of the fire. Let them know that humanity does not wait for danger. Humanity strikes first. Leora approached carrying bundles of supplies. The survivors are ready, she said. They trust you, Commander. They're willing to fight. But this will be dangerous. Many of them are still weak from the first battles. Alara's eyes softened. I know, and that's why we fight as one. We protect them. We fight not just for survival, but for every life in this city. Every child, every elder, every person hiding in the shadows. The plan was simple in concept but daring in execution. Hit the alien machines at their central gathering point with a coordinated strike, using every human advantage, strategy, terrain, fire, and unpredictability. The city's survivors were divided into strike teams. Some would set traps along the eastern streets, others would provide covering fire, and Alara's team would lead the direct assault, striking with precision and courage. The humans moved silently through the ruins, shadows in the morning light. Every alley, every rooftop, every corner was a potential battlefield. Their first encounters were small, scouting drones and automated units sent to probe defenses. But the humans were ready. Explosives detonated, disabling the drones, and sharpshooters eliminated the automated units before they could call for reinforcements. Alara moved like a ghost through the city streets, guiding squads, giving commands, and striking when needed. Her presence inspired the survivors, showing them that courage was contagious. Even those who had been afraid now fought with determination, armed with makeshift weapons, fire, and the will to survive. As they neared the eastern sector, the humans encountered the first large units of the alien force. Massive machines, their bodies reinforced with armor and bristling with energy weapons, advanced in formation. Their sensors scanned the streets seeking life, but the humans had prepared. Traps set overnight sprang to life. Pits, electric charges, and collapsing debris slowed the machines' advance. Human squads fired from rooftops targeting exposed joints and circuits. Flamethrowers forced the machines back, and explosives detonated beneath heavy legs, sending sparks flying. Every move was calculated yet unpredictable, and every strike pushed the enemy back. Rian and his team coordinated a flanking maneuver, striking the machines from unexpected angles. The alien units were powerful, but they were not creative. They could not predict human ingenuity. Every step forward they took was met with resistance, and every strategy they tried was countered with clever tactics and teamwork. In the heart of the eastern sector, the humans discovered the alien command unit, a massive towering machine controlling the others. Its presence radiated power, its movements precise and intimidating. It fired energy blasts that scorched the streets and sent debris flying. But the humans did not falter. Alara turned to Ryan. This is it. We focus everything on that unit. Take it down and the others will falter. Ryan nodded. Strike teams are in position. We're ready. Leora gathered the volunteers, whispering words of encouragement. Stay together. Watch each other, move fast. Every step we take weakens them. Remember, we are humans. We fight not just with weapons, but with our hearts and minds. The assault began. Explosives detonated along the sides of the main street, crippling the first line of smaller machines. Human squads attacked from multiple directions, forcing the larger units to split their focus. Ryan's team moved in to disable weapons, while survivors armed with flamethrowers harassed the enemy from rooftops. Sparks and fire illuminated the streets as the humans pressed forward. The command unit loomed above, firing with deadly precision. It targeted the humans, trying to anticipate their movements. But Alara and her team were relentless, striking from unexpected angles, dodging attacks and coordinating their movements with perfect timing. One team of survivors led by Leora approached from a hidden alley. Using ropes and makeshift grapples, they scaled the machine's sides, planting explosives at critical points. The machine struggled, thrashing violently, trying to dislodge them. But the humans held fast, igniting the charges with a spark that sent flames cascading along its armor. Ryan fired with precision, targeting exposed circuits revealed by the explosions. Sparks flew and the massive machine shuddered, its movements faltering. Alara moved to the front, rallying the survivors and Marines alike. Now, push forward! We finish this. With coordinated force, the humans struck the final blow. The command unit collapsed in a shower of sparks, fire, and twisted metal. Its fall sent a shockwave through the remaining machines, causing confusion and disarray. The smaller units, now without direction, began to retreat, stumbling over traps and debris set by the humans. The city erupted in cheers. Survivors ran through the streets, embracing one another, their faces glowing with triumph. Leora wept, overwhelmed by relief. She had called for salvation, and humanity had answered, not with hesitation, not with uncertainty, but with fire, courage, and unbreakable will. Ilara stood amidst the chaos, surveying the battlefield. The humans had won, but she knew this was only the beginning. "We've shown them what humans are capable of," she said to Rian, "but we cannot stop. There are more out there. They will regroup. They will come back, and we must be ready." Rian nodded. "They'll learn that humans fight differently, that fire in our hearts cannot be calculated, that courage, intelligence, and teamwork are weapons no machine can predict." As night fell, the city slowly returned to a fragile calm. Fires burned in controlled areas, and survivors moved among the ruins, tending to the wounded, rebuilding barricades, and preparing for the next challenge. Humanity had taken the fight to the enemy, proving that even in the face of overwhelming odds, they could strike with precision, courage, and determination. Leora walked through the streets, helping survivors settle into safer areas. "We've done it," she said quietly. "We've fought back. We've survived. And we've shown them that humanity cannot be destroyed." Ilara joined her eyes scanning the horizon. "Today we won a battle, but tomorrow is another day. We fight not just for survival, but for every life, every street, every home. Humanity is the fire that will not be extinguished." Above the city, the Aegis and other human ships hovered, ready to provide support. Reinforcements and supplies would arrive soon, strengthening the humans' position. The enemy had been pushed back, but they were not defeated. Yet the message had been sent. Humanity answers every call for salvation with courage, ingenuity, and fire. In the quiet moments of the night, survivors slept, healed, and rested. But in their dreams, and in the hearts of every human on the battlefield, burned a single truth. They had called for salvation. Humanity had come, and humanity had struck with fire. The sun rose over the ruined city like a promise, golden light spilling across streets scarred by battle. The fires of yesterday still smoldered in pockets, but now they were symbols of defiance, not destruction. Commander Ilara Voss stood atop the central tower, overlooking the battlefield with sharp eyes. The alien machines had retreated, but intelligence reports indicated they were regrouping. Reinforcements from human fleets were arriving, bristling with weapons, supplies, and more soldiers. Humanity had answered the call. Now it was time to finish what they had begun. Ryan Holt approached, scanning the streets below. "They've pulled back, but they're regrouping. Larger units are coming. This won't be easy." Ilara shook her head, determination flashing in her eyes. "Easy is never the human way. We fight not for convenience, but for survival. And when we fight with fire." Leora joined them, her face marked by soot and exhaustion, but her spirit unbroken. "The survivors are ready," she said. "They've seen what we can do. They've seen that humans do not surrender. We just need to lead them one last time." Ilara nodded. "Then we strike at the heart of their forces. We make sure they understand. No attack on humanity goes unanswered. We end this today." The plan was audacious. A full assault on the enemy's remaining forces using every resource at humanity's disposal. Strike teams, flamethrowers, explosives, and sharpshooters would move in tandem, guided by the most experienced commanders. Above them, human ships hovered, ready to provide support and firepower. Every human on the battlefield knew the stakes. This was not just survival, it was a statement. As they advanced, the survivors moved alongside seasoned soldiers, carrying weapons with steady hands, eyes focused, hearts full of courage. Children and elders had been moved to safety in tunnels and hidden bunkers. Every human above ground now fought with a single purpose: to ensure that the call for salvation would not go unanswered. Ilara led the charge, her voice carried over comms and streets alike. "Remember, fire is not just our weapon. It is our spirit. Move with courage, strike with intelligence, and never falter. Humanity answers every call, Mom, and today we strike with everything we have." The first wave of machines appeared on the horizon, moving in formations larger and more powerful than any seen before. Their weapons glowed, their metallic bodies gleaming under the sun. But the humans did not waver. Explosives detonated from hidden positions and sharpshooters targeted weak points in the machine's armor. Flamethrowers forced smaller units to retreat, and squads darted from cover to cover, exploiting every blind spot. Rian led one strike team directly into the machine's path, drawing fire while the main force circled around to attack from the sides. Sparks flew as bullets, energy blasts, and fire collided with steel. The battlefield became a storm of chaos and precision, destruction and strategy. Leora and her volunteers attacked from unexpected angles, using debris, rooftops, and alleys to confuse the machines. Humans were unpredictable, moving in ways that no machine could calculate. Every step, every strike, every explosion weakened the invaders' resolve. The humans had learned from previous battles. They were faster, smarter, and more coordinated, and above all, they fought not just with weapons but with heart. The machines could destroy, but they could not inspire. They could not innovate. They could not feel. And that made all the difference. In the center of the battlefield stood the Alien Command Unit, the largest and most dangerous of all. Its movements were precise, calculated, and terrifying. Energy beams ripped through streets, and smaller machines coordinated attacks with ruthless efficiency. Ilara turned to Ryan and Leora. "This is it. We take down the command unit and everything else falls. The humans who fight beside us are counting on us. Today we strike at the heart." The humans advanced, dividing into squads, each striking with speed and precision. Explosives detonated under the command unit's legs, causing it to stagger. Ropes and grapples were used to climb its sides, while sharpshooters targeted exposed circuits revealed by the explosions. Flames licked at its armor, forcing it to shift and stumble. The machine's attacks were relentless, but the humans' coordination was unmatched. Every time it moved to strike, another human team hit it from a different direction. Sparks and fire flew in every direction, creating a scene of chaos that only humans could navigate with purpose. Rian leaped to a higher position, aiming his weapon at the command unit's exposed control nodes. "Ilara, now!" he shouted. Ilara signaled the teams, and a synchronized strike unfolded. Explosives detonated, circuits fried, and flames engulfed the command unit. It let out a mechanical shriek as it toppled, sending a shockwave through the battlefield. The smaller machines, now without direction, faltered, stumbled, and began retreating. Humans cheered. Survivors ran through the streets, hugging one another, their faces glowing with relief and triumph. They had called for salvation, and humanity had answered Hawaii with fire, courage, and unyielding determination. Leora, standing amidst the ruins, wept quietly. "We've done it," she whispered. "We've fought back. We've survived. And we've shown them we are humans." Ilara joined her, looking over the battlefield. The city was battered, but the humans were victorious. Today we fought not just to survive, but to show what humanity is capable of. Every life saved, every street reclaimed, every machine disabled, is proof that when humans answer a call, we do it with fire. Not just the fire of weapons, but the fire in our hearts. Even as night fell, the humans did not rest entirely. They tended to the wounded, rebuilt barricades, and ensured that survivors were safe. The alien machines had been driven back, but intelligence indicated that more could be coming. Yet the victory of today had changed everything. Humans had proven that no matter the odds, they could fight together, strike with precision, and survive against overwhelming forces. Above the city, the Aegis and other human ships hovered, their presence a reminder that humanity's reach was vast, their resources formidable, and their will unbreakable. Reinforcements were arriving, bringing more weapons, supplies, and soldiers to strengthen the human position. Ilara looked at the survivors gathered in the central square. "You have fought bravely," she said, her voice carrying over the crowd. "You have shown courage where fear could have ruled. You have shown ingenuity where strength alone would not have been enough. And most of all, you have shown the world what humanity can do when it answers a call for salvation." The survivors cheered, raising fists and voices. Hope had returned to their hearts. They had seen firsthand that humans could rise against any threat, no matter how impossible it seemed. In the quiet moments of the night, as the city settled into uneasy rest, Ilara, Ryan, and Leora stood together, looking toward the stars. Leora whispered, "I thought we were alone. I thought we were lost. But we weren't. You came. Humanity came." Ilara nodded. "We did more than come. We fought, we endured, and we won." Humanity does not wait for miracles. Humanity becomes the miracle. Every call for salvation will find an answer. Because humans answer with fire, with courage, with heart. Ryan smiled, his eyes reflecting the distant fires still burning in the city. They'll remember this. Every machine, every system that dares to challenge humanity will remember. We are not just survivors. We are fighters. We are humans. And above the ruined city, the Aegis and the human fleet shone like stars among stars, a promise and a warning. Humanity had answered the call, and the fire of their spirit could not be extinguished. Leora took a deep breath, looking around at the faces of the survivors, weary, battered, but unbroken. "We are alive," she said softly, "because they answered. Because humans answered with fire." Ilara placed a hand on her shoulder. "And that fire will never go out. We will protect what remains. We will rebuild, and we will rise stronger than ever. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity answers, and humanity prevails." The night was calm, but in every heart there burned a single truth. The call for salvation had been answered. Humanity had come, humanity had fought, and humanity had triumphed. In the ashes of the city, hope had returned. In the hearts of survivors, courage had been reborn. And in the stars above, humanity's fire shone brighter than any darkness.